IB, you can come up to the stage along with your advisor, Ms. Colleen Boy.
Friends, Romans, Spanish, Chinese, French, other Romans, that's the Italians. Lend me your ears. Salve. That means greetings in Latin. Now, Latin isn't like most other languages. For starters, word order goes out the window. The only way to know what someone is saying is not only to know the words themselves, but to also know the specific endings of those words. If someone were to ask me how to say dog in Latin, the answer would be, well, I don't know. What's the dog doing? If the dog is a subject, it's canis, direct object, canam, if it follows a preposition, cane, and so on. There are literally over 50 possible endings, and that's just for nouns. And you thought accent marks were tough. Now, just as Latin distinguishes itself from other languages, the Latin Honors Society distinguishes itself from the other societies. The main difference is that we don't speak our language, but rather analyze it instead. This speech itself is the only one said tonight, originally written in English and not a translation. And I'm now realizing it is also very different from the other speeches in content. Moving on, I am not a Latin Honor Society president. I'm instead a consul. It's better. Pretty soon, we'll be on stage playing jazz with wreath crowns on our heads. When we raise our hands and ask, Miss Bouet, what does that mean? She doesn't say, oh, that means Aeneas founded Rome and went down as the coolest person in history. No, she says, look at the Latin. And we sit down and we stare at the same scribbles on the page for hours on end until at last we see the Latin that she does. We travel about the empire with epic heroes, iconic commanders, and of course Roman scoundrels, and we fight like gladiators to learn this language. We bleed, we sweat, and we most certainly cry over this language of poetry and prose. Our advisor, Ms. Bouet, has introduced us to and taught us to love the Roman classics with unrivaled passion, and for that we will forever be in her debt. In addition to being one of the most knowledgeable people I have ever talked to, and I mean knowledgeable, she wrote an entire thesis on the single Latin word vulgus. She is also one of the kindest, and I, for one, will be very sad to see her retire from teaching at the end of the year. She's turned us into a group of people that think differently and not just use what we're given, but create new things with it, as shown on our expertly designed t-shirts bearing the label, Creating Languages Since 753 BC. Thanks to the hard work of current LHS members, we sold over 50 of those, by the way, and we'll be donating the over $400 from those sales to the Homedale First Aid Squad. The Latin Honor Society was out in full force for the international dinner held last month in the Commons. The dinner was well attended by all 5 honor societies, and it was a feast that matched Roman standards with an opulent array of foods from the far reaches of the empire. There, the LHS Jazz Quartet performed, and we are back tonight by popular demand. But that's all in the past, just like literally everything else we study. I'm here now to induct 13 new members into our glorious Neo-Roman Empire. These students have shown excellence not only in their translation and analysis of ancient texts, but also in the field of battle. For these brave centurions, the road ahead will not be easy, but it most certainly will be rewarding. To them I offer some advice. To quote our official, unofficial society motto, where there's a will, there's a way. So now, let the games begin. We will start by inducting our new officers for the 2015-2016 school year. Thank you.